welcome to Butterflies of Wisdom, everyone. Now, I don't know if you remember the many episodes ago when Juan Carlos interviewed Anna Anna's the show notes assistant of the Nice Guys on Business. Well, the reason why I mentioned that interview is because I happen to have Doug and Strickland on the other end with me of the Nice Guys on Business, which happens to be one of my favorite podcasts. So without further ado, I'm going to let those guys introduce themselves, and so you guys get a taste of what we're going to deal with here. So welcome aboard, guys. And Doug, I want you to say hi first, and then Strickland, you can take over from here.
As it should be, I get to go first.
Oh, yeah.
Strick, we finally made it. This is the Tim Ferriss show, isn't it? Are we here on the Tim Ferriss show?
It is. That's right. We are. Yes.
I'm so excited to be here. Oh, it's Win. Oh, okay. Well, we'll stay on the Win is prepping us for the Tim Ferriss show. So I understand there's a series of things that we have to do in order to get there. Hey, thanks.
Butterflies of Wisdom is our stepping stone. That's our stepping stone to Tim Ferriss.
To Tim Ferriss, I love it. Stepping stone to Tim Ferriss, I love it. And the reason why the guys mentioned Tim Ferriss is because if you listen to their podcast, I believe that you guys hold the position of number 2 in Overcast under Tim Ferriss. And if we get these guys to number 1, Doug has said he'll get on an airplane and go find Tim Ferriss. So I don't know how long an interview on their end that's going to be. But, yeah, we want to see. Hopefully it will be a nice interview. Hopefully not 2 minutes, but we want to see that happen. So maybe you guys maybe my team can help you guys out, because I want to know how you guys started the podcast. I want to know where this chaos came from.
We would tell you to win, but we're out of time. You've taken all of our time.
Oh.
You've taken all of our time talking. Strick, maybe you tell Win the story about how we met.
Well, Doug, she did ask us to introduce ourselves, which we haven't done. She asked us to introduce ourselves, and you started talking about Tim Ferriss. So I will take the lead, since you obviously have ignored the question completely. I am Strickland, and yes, I do work a 9-to-5 job, and I do all of the production for the Nice Guys on Business podcast, and Doug does all the social media. So you can find me on Twitter at Nice Guy on Biz, but I won't respond because I'm never on there. It would be much better to go to at DJ Doug on Twitter and find him, and he will probably actually respond.
And my name is Doug Sandler, and I am the co-host to the Nice Guys on Business podcast. And I would like to say that the entire podcast idea was mine. I mean, I will take it. Not podcasting in general. I think maybe iTunes had come up with that. But for the Nice Guys on Business, I was looking at a way to promote my book when it first came out a couple of years ago. And Strick and I, we've been friends for the last 20 years or so. And we said, hey, why not? We got nothing else to do with that an extra 20 hours a week. Why don't we come up with a podcast? So that's how we started it, Win.
So you guys started it it was just an idea. It was just an idea with most podcasts on nowadays. And unless you have passion, you can't get away with a podcast in any sense of the realm.
I would agree with that, because you're not doing it because of the money that's involved in the podcast world.
No.
And you're not doing it because it's such an easy thing to do. I mean, Strickland has probably 30 years of audio engineering experience, and my experience in selling and in social media, just kind of it seemed to be a perfect platform for us to try to promote our message, and the combination of the two of us, since we somehow have managed to come up with almost 400 fun conversations to have over the last 2 years on air with each episode, we've enjoyed it. It's been a good run so far. We're looking to see what the next 4. Are we gonna do this for another 400 episodes, Strick? You think?
Wait, Doug, I want to go back to something you said at the beginning. We're not getting paid to do our podcast? What are you talking? I thought we were getting a check every week.
Have you the checks that I've written you? You haven't actually tried to cash any of them, have you? Because they'd all bounce if they did.
Oh, jeez. I'm out of here. Forget it.
It's been a good episode. We'll talk to you later.
You don't get paid for the podcast. You don't get paid to do a podcast unless you're really skilled and talented. I barely get paid to do this podcast, you guys. So, okay.
She says she barely gets paid, which means there's some money in there. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Yeah, barely getting paid is better than we're doing. We're not getting paid for our podcast at all. I mean,
But Wynn, we have questions for you. How are you barely getting paid? What is the barely? Who's paying you? I want to connect with that person. Who is it?
Well, I just asked. I tell you guys, I don't do the Patreon thing, and I should. I just asked my team, and they graciously said yes. Yes, we'll sponsor your podcast.
We're forgetting the number one formula, the ask. Yeah, not asking.
Oh, that's the key. Okay.
That's the key. Ask. And so I want to know how you guys are doing on Patreon, because every time I hear that, I'm thinking, oh boy, there I go again. But have you got a decent amount off Patreon or no?
Strick, I'm going to let you field this one.
It costs us, we estimate, about $100 a month to run our podcast, and we've gotten almost that much in donations from Patreon, but not quite.
Not quite.
So we're still operating at a loss 2.5 years later.
That's what I figured. Well, again, maybe.
We're like Twitter, though. Our stock is really high, even though we're still operating at a loss.
We're doing very well. Just fine. Why is the only way we're measuring success here by money? I mean, come on. Look at all the joy that we are spreading with our podcast.
Yes. Knock it off. I should probably knock it off. What's the point of talking about money and not talking about the joys of podcasting? And now you guys have a really interesting approach. You do the show 5 days a week, which I applaud you for, and you also do interviews 3 days a week. Correct me if I'm wrong. And you do yourselves 2 days a week?
That's correct.
So, now I'm going to ask both of you the same questions, but I'm going to ask both of you in both your perspectives. What has been your favorite interview you have done, and on your end on the Nice Guys on Business?
I want to go first at this one. I think my favorite episode was when my mom came on the show and she dropped the F-bomb. That was my favorite. That's my favorite episode.
Oh boy.
I think that's it. I mean, how fortunate can you be to be able to do something that you love? I mean, I'll speak for myself here, and because I know Strickland is oftentimes he is clothed when he's actually doing his episode, but most of the time I'm wearing my pajamas or nothing at all. I mean, that is actually how I prefer to podcast. So for me, that's the favorite part of podcasting. So I would have to tell you that every episode is my favorite because I get to do it how I want to at my house. Not having to leave my house, barely having to comb my hair, and oftentimes probably not even having to shave for the day. So that's why I like doing the podcast.
No. Exactly, because it's the voice behind the podcast. I mean, it's the voice behind the podcast. These YouTubers have to get dressed and get dressed nicely. Some someone asked me today, do you do video? And I'm like, no, I don't do video. No, well, because you have to get dressed on that one.
And if anybody would know Strickland, they would know that Strickland has a face for radio, so he's perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And now to the question of what my favorite the question of what my favorite interview was. Doug does all the interviews. I don't listen to him. I ignore him, so I hate them all. That's actually not true. I happened to listen to one, I think it was 2 weeks ago, with Noah Kagan. Noah Kagan is the guy who created AppSumo, and he totally turned the tables on Doug and basically interviewed Doug. I think that was probably my favorite.
Yeah, because he got
when
me.
Noah
When Noah
Kagan interviewed Doug, oh boy, I did pick that one up.
Hey, Wynn, I have a question for you. How long have you been listening to the show?
I have been listening for about a good, since December, probably.
All right.
And now we publish 5 episodes a week. Do you listen every day?
I try. I honestly try. I mean, I caught yesterday's episode today. I caught today's episode today, obviously, but when I try to listen to every episode on the day it comes out, because in real time it helps with the download numbers, and I know you guys are part of 2 big networks, and so talk to me about being a part of those 2 big networks. I know you acquired one at the beginning and then one in the middle of it.
Strick, would that be ABC and CBS that she's referring to?
Not quite that big. It would be the C-Suite Radio Network and the Podcast Greatness Network.
Wait, but so you've been listening since December, and you sent me a message probably in December or January about coming on your show, and at the time I had looked, and when you sent the interview request to me and you said you loved our show, you did send a whole bunch of others at the same time to other podcasters saying you loved their show, and then I was thinking, I think she probably loves too many shows. So are you sure? I know we're reasonably. We're a good show, so you actually do listen. I know you listen because you send me text messages and you tell me when you've listened to the episodes.
I got caught.
You did. You got caught. You.
Junkie. I got caught. Oops. I got caught by those guys on business. See, I have to now work on my intake form because I got caught. I knew I was going to get caught one of these days, and I didn't know it was going to be by you guys, but to each their own. But, I'm slowly but surely working on that less formal, less robotic intake form and less robotic invite. And I don't know how you guys do it on, maybe you can give me some tips. I don't know how you guys get all these fascinating interviews. How did you do it the first go round?
With
Doug
social
just
media?
Bugs them and Doug just completely bugs people until they basically say, okay, stop bugging me. I'll come on your show if you just stop bugging me.
That's pretty much been my strategy since day one is to bug the crap out of everybody until they come on the show. I mean, if you look at the show is it is a good, well-rounded show. We do have a whole bunch of business. Well, no, we actually don't have any business that we talk about. We do provide a lot of great information. Well, we actually don't provide any great information. Strick, what do we do exactly? Why do people want to come on our show?
Nice Guys Bingo.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we are.
No, we haven't rolled that out yet. We're going to roll that out next week. I think we're kind of entertaining sometimes. Wynn, why do you think people listen to our show?
Because you're very entertaining. And of course, when Muhammad did his episode this morning, he talked about being passionate and doing what you love, essentially. And that, I think, is wonderful in a sense, because why are we doing the 9-to-5 job if we're not doing what we love? I mean, you can find a 9-to-5 job and do it as a love.
That's very true. So we do it because we love it. We certainly don't do it because of the dollars that are attached to it. Although we've started to see a couple of dollars come in. I mean, that and people like to send us stuff through the mail. So when girls send us their underwear in the mail, we appreciate that. So that's always a good thing. But you've been getting them, haven't you? Strick? No.
Who, me or Win? I thought you were talking about Win. Like, has Win been getting them? No.
No, I don't think Win gets any girls' underwear in the mail, but you might, Strick.
No, but I do.
Oh, you've been keeping them to yourself, say that.
those are my special
I do
collection.
get fan stuff. I do get books, and I do get on the occasion postcards. So the stuff coming through the mail on my end is not that, but it's interesting because we get fan stuff without even noticing it.
That's awesome. Yeah, getting stuff in the mail is usually very fun. We like it, especially if we get any cash in the mail. Speaking of which, have we promoted it on Patreon here on Wynn's website or on Wynn's podcast? Or we probably shouldn't do that though.
Yes.
Are we allowed to do that on her podcast?
Yes. You're allowed to promote anything you want. So go ahead and promote the Patreon.
Go ahead, Straight.
So go to patreon.com/nice guys. You can get bonus material, and you can donate as little as $1 a month and help support the show. We appreciate it.
Yeah, Strick, it doesn't sound the same when we're promoting our show on somebody else's show, does it?
Well, I'm trying to be brief with it. You know, I don't want the show to go long just because we're talking about Patreon.
Yeah, that's true. You did bless us with your on-time performance, so we may as well.
Thank you.
We'll let Wynn run the show.
Yes, exactly. But no, people are allowed to promote anything on my podcast. I'm pretty much open to having anyone promote anything on my podcast. My podcast is a well-rounded interview show, just like yours, but I am just a little bit, how do I put this, nicer than you guys are, because you tend to throw people under the bus in a good way.
Sometimes we do. We try to keep people honest. We prefer that to throwing them under the bus, but it's all a matter of perspective. Tomato, you know.
So Wynn, let me ask you a question, Wynn. So you've been doing your podcast for how long?
I have been doing the podcast for about a good two years, maybe.
And let me say that not only has your podcast outlasted 99% of the other podcasts that are out there, but you probably do better in your promotion and your downloads and everything else than probably another 99%. So I would probably put you in the top 1% of all podcasts that are being done right now. So hats off to you, and for staying in the game as long as you have.
Thank you. And as you guys know, this is not easy. This is not easy. I mean, there are days that I don't want to do this podcasting thing, but I do it because if I didn't do it, my fan base would go nuts. And if you guys didn't do what you guys do, the nice guys on business, your fan base would probably go nuts. I mean, my fan base, 9 times out of 10, wonders where the podcast is, especially when you do a 2-day-a-week show, and then I'm adding on another day. But I know you have gotten emails saying, "Where's the podcast?" or "Have you?"
Well, we haven't taken a vacation 2 years, so we wouldn't know.
2.5 years.
You have something. What do you have to say, Strick? Go ahead.
Oh, Wynn has 7 interviews scheduled for today. So, we think we're busy when you're crazy busy, obviously.
Yep.
7 interviews. That's nuts.
Yep.
Yeah.
7.
Yeah, I'm looking at her calendar right now. 7 interviews today.
I try and do it back to back on Fridays and Tuesdays and make those my solid interview days. Yes, people are going to think I'm crazy, but I try and I succeed at that. Because what do you think people who want to start a podcast, you guys, and then I'll give my perspective on this too. And what do you think that people should know before they start a podcast?
I would say that know that it's work. know that there's a lot of challenges that go into it. It's not just turning on a microphone and going. And sometimes it's a matter of finding the right equipment, finding the right. There's a whole bunch of components that need to come together in order to put together a podcast well. And that's exactly why we started our company Turnkey Podcast, as a matter of fact, because we wanted to make sure that the people that are out there that want to have a platform to provide a podcast, that they have the ability to do that. But yeah, I mean, I think it's challenging. If you're doing an interview show, you want to have a co-host and a guest that is on time. You want to have it sound professional. You want to do all the things that, you know, if you're doing a show where you're talking to somebody, you want to make sure everything is on the level and everything sounds good. I mean, I don't know, Strick, is there been anything that's been challenging for you over the last 2.5 years, except for everything that we've done, right?
It definitely can be challenging. The learning curve was high, just figuring out how to do it. And again, you know, a little plug for us. I guess that's why we've got our Turnkey Podcast, to try and help other people that have no idea how to do it, but they decide they want to start a podcast. But it really is a lot of work, and it's not just getting together and recording. You know, you got the production afterwards. You've got the social media to try to get people to stop and listen and to download and to tell their friends. And there's definitely a lot that goes into it.
And if you don't mind me asking, what are your download numbers, you guys? I know you have a huge amount of downloads, and more than I do. I hope to get to your download numbers per episode one of these days. But what are your download numbers?
Well, for the month of, we're recording this in the month of May. Is this, so I don't know when the air date of this, but as of right now, which is the last few days of the month, I think we're on the 26th, my calendar says, we have close to 70,000 downloads for the month, and we probably will have, this will be our best month. It'll probably be close to 80,000 by the time we get finished with the month.
And this will go out on Memorial Day on Monday. So you guys will probably have a spike in download numbers on Monday because people heard you over here. And so who did your graphic artwork, by the way? I love your graphic artwork.
Well, the artwork is done through Canva. That's a real easy, free program that you can. Yeah, listen, when you have a low budget the way we do, you got to do everything yourself. So for us, the artwork. You're talking about the cover art, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, all of our cover art is done through Canva. Our original logo was done by a company called Disruptive. They created our artwork. That was years ago, and we've been enjoying it ever since.
Yeah. So now you just use Canva. That's the secret weapon there. Using Canva.
Really easy to use. Hey, Strick, you don't happen to know the username and passcode for Canva, do you? You don't know that, do you? Yeah, you know how to even
idea.
Do you even know how to access Canva? As much as I know how to.
I've never seen it. I don't know anything about it.
Nor do I know how to access
never seen it.
I don't know how to access the audio. I don't even know what program we use to do the what is that called when you do the what is that, the editing? Is that what that is?
Yeah, let's keep it that way, Doug. All right, you just stay in your little circle. I'll stay in mine, and everything will be okay.
Yes.
See, if we start letting Doug get into that, then we're going to have interviews that'll be split in the middle and screaming sounds, and we don't want to have that.
And I'm not even allowed to say my age on the show.
Please.
Yeah, yes. Hey, Wynn, you know, yes. Strick doesn't let me say my age on the show. You know that, right?
I know that. I do know that. I
can't do it here either because somehow he figured out how to get to your editor.
Yeah, I don't know how I beep it out if you wanted to say it on Wynn's show. But
get to me. And so, well, you guys, before I let you go and to go back to your amazing work, I want you guys to ask me 2 questions each. I'll have Strickland, you go first, and then Doug, you close out the show by asking me 2 questions.
Beautiful.
So why did you start podcasting?
Why did I start podcasting? To interview the rock stars like you guys, because when you have a book, as I know Doug does, and as I know we all do now, a book is more like a business card. Well, the podcast takes it more to the next level of that business card, and you can always promote a book on that business card, or hand the person nice guys finish first, or I Come a Win, which is my book, which both of those books could be found on Amazon. The Nice Guys Finish First, by the way, you guys, it's Doug's book, and Doug and I would appreciate reviews and stars, because all that helps with the Amazon algorithm. So that is why I started podcasting.
Excellent. And where are you located, Wynn?
I am located in beautiful Aspen, Colorado, although it's mightily cold here. It's getting to the point where I've decided it doesn't turn summer until June.
I get my 2 questions now, don't I?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my question number 1 is, Wynn, who did you go to the prom with?
Oh, geez. Who did I go to the prom with? Well, that would be my last prom would have been in 2006. Date myself here, and I actually took myself to the prom. I'm like, no, because boys weren't asking me at that time, and now they're still asking me. But I actually took myself to the prom. To be honest with you, I'm like, well, if no one wants to take me, I might as well take myself.
All right, that's a good answer, and that's a bold answer to be able to go to the prom by yourself and to do it with vigor. So that was question number 1. Question number 2 is this is the one I really wanted to lead with. Who do you think is cuter, me or Strickland?
Oh, geez, well, you both have phenomenal voices, and who I think is cuter, and well, the fact that Doug, I'm so used to listening to you because you do the majority of the interviewing. I just think that you would be a cute radio hostess. It would be because, and Doug, you're going to be laughing at me for the rest of the day.
I win.
Hey, Wynn, can I sneak one more question in? I know you said just 2 for each of us, but can I sneak one more in?
Yes.
Okay, I want to ask one more question. If you were to get an invitation to a party, what would you like the dress code to be?
I knew this one was coming. And the reason why I knew this, you guys, is because, and the answer I'm going to give is going to make you guys laugh, but the answer the nice guys want me to give, they'll understand why. So I would say a black tie tutu. And the reason why I say that is because Doug, you get
that's close enough, Strickland. It's close enough.
Close enough.
What is it?
You're right.
It was. I mean, the answer is black tie.
Tutu. As long as you say tutu. Tutu optional.
I said
optional. My gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Doug, you finally get your answer. If you guys go listen to the nice guys on business, everyone says, Bika Taya, yoga, Taya, Muhammad said yoga. And I'm like, I was watching on my face, and I almost started laughing at that when I'm like, that's not going to fly, yoga, Taya. But if you guys go listen to the nice guys on business, Doug is trying to get anyone on his podcast to say, Tutu. I'm like, I knew this one was coming, so I kind of had that answer.
The obvious question, Strick. We missed it.
The obvious question. I wasn't big.
That was great. That was great. So, yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was good. I figured you would love that answer because you guys have been trying to get that answer. So, you guys, I enjoyed myself so late, and you guys still listen to the nice guys on business. And speaking of Twitter, this podcast happens to be sponsored by Kitter, Kitter, and you can either compose a tweet or they can compose a tweet for you, and they will put the hashtag with it, the trending hashtag, so you guys don't get lost in the heap. And where can people find the nice guys on business? I know it's in iTunes, I know it's in iHeart Radio, and I know it's in Overcast, but where can people find the website, Doug? And how can people get a hold of you to be on the interview side potentially? I know you guys are booked out until June. Well,
did you say, Wynn, that Twitter sponsors your show?
No, I wish they did. I wish they did. A person that developed the app for Twitter actually sponsors my show. I wish Twitter sponsors my show, but something close to Twitter sponsors my show does.
Okay. Well, who was your sponsor again? I missed the name. I thought you said. Spell it for me.
Kitter. Kitter.
Kitter. Wow. Hey, Strick, will Kitter sponsor our show too, Wynn, do you think? Can you cut a deal for it?
Well, they might. I can ask. I seriously can put you in touch with the woman who founded it, and we can get that going.
All right. And we'll even pay a very small, very nominal commission. How about that?
Oh, well, yeah. But I seriously can. I'll do it right after this phone call, and I'll see what I can do to help you guys out.
You have 7 other interviews to do, Wynn. You can do it another day. We'll be happy to take any sponsors that you have. Not away from you, of course. We want
not away, but
it's not us or Butterflies of Wisdom. It's and we will only accept it if it's an end.
And yeah, exactly. That's the team effort here about podcasting. It's an and effort. And so I appreciate you guys both for coming on the podcast. And again, where can people find you guys?
Strick?
You can go to niceguysonbusiness.com, or even easier, if you want to join our Facebook group, niceshortcut.com. We'll get you right there, and you can find us on Overcast. Just search for Nice Guys on Business, or iTunes, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Yes, and as I said, my podcast is pretty much all over the place. And again, I thank these two for coming on my podcast and sharing a couple good laughs with me. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And thanks to you guys.
Hey, thanks, Wynn. Thanks for having us on.
Thank you.